Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Hope this thing is recording. I don't have any feed over here yet. Let me get the phone real quick. Technical issues, dude. Always. Says it's live. Well, we will press on. So this is Cable. I think it was called, though, the Mechanical. Sometimes it's just really disappointing when Hot Toys or whomever doesn't want to make a figure for whatever reason. I bought this from Kit Chen, 1/6 kit. Needless to say, this is wrapped very well. This is a Toys Era figure, the luxury edition. PE001. I'm assuming the PE might stand for perhaps Premier Edition. Those other ones are like TE, which I assume for Toys Era. I don't know, really. Come on, computer. Why are you being impossible? I literally just cleaned all this up just a couple weeks ago and it was working fine. Now, nothing. Oh well, we will continue. I'm sorry I don't see any chat. And I really hate that, guys, because I want to interact with you all. So I'm assuming this is his shoulder, and I'm embarrassed to say I don't know that much about Cable. So, and he's been around for a while in the Marvel universe, and I know he's part of the X-Men. So, it's a sleeve. So it's a sleeve and shoebox style. There's the top. There's the bottom. The box is it's pretty advanced as far as Toys R Us goes. If I remember correctly, some of the earlier ones, they didn't have this appearance of Hot Toys. I mean, the box really looks like a pretty quality piece coming out of it. You know what I mean? I don't remember my other Toys R Us figures looking like this when I unboxed them. Bravo, Toys R Us, stepping up the game. I'm keeping over here to see when I can get any. Oh, here we go. Here's some chats coming through. Noble Young, welcome, man. Thank you. Ghost Tav, what's up? Did I watch Umbrella Academy? I did not. I've heard mixed things on that. You're saying it's pretty good, though, huh? Best part of stream is hearing my rants being read. Yeah. Initially looking at this, and which is really the whole thing I'm trying to give you guys, is my initial impression of it all here on this live unboxing. It looks like Thanos. Haha. A Ziploc bag, loving it. Put all my little doodads in there. I need to buy another, a couple other, not taped. Loving it. Thank you. There's no need to tape these on here. Perfect. You know, they should be able to come off without having to fight and destroy the figure to get it off, right? Dude, I think that's kind of looking a lot like Josh Brolin's Cable. I almost said Thanos. Zip it, Thanos. I love the stupid humor in Deadpool. It's great. And I hope with the Disney acquisition of Fox, they continue that type of a Deadpool. I hope they don't get stupid. And I should have looked at the movie again before unboxing this, and I'm sorry, guys, I did not. I really wanted to look and see how accurate he is to the movie. This is nylon, if you can hear it, and that's cool. They did a really good job positioning it around there. I think I remember it looking kind of like that, didn't he? Didn't he kind of wear it like this, actually? Let's see what kind of, oh yeah. This is cool. Digging this. Thank you. I find that these Ralph Lauren polo shirts, I'm a tall man, and I find that these Ralph Lauren polo shirts are the only ones that don't shrink. Every other polo shirt that I've bought, when I wash them and dry them, shrink. And these, they don't shrink. So, you know, when you spend $15 on a brand new shirt from, you know, a regular store or whatever, or 20, I think they're even now $30 now for just a regular shirt, and then 3 months later it shrinks, you can't wear it because you got your belly button hanging out. And to some people it's appealing to have your belly button hanging out. I don't find it appealing to have my belly button hanging out. So I get a shirt to last 3 months and I got to buy another one. I spend, I don't know, $60 on these shirts, and this shirt's probably 5 years old. So that's the reason I buy these shirts. So They don't shrink. We have two of the teddies. Now, they could have made this teddy on the right a little more burnt. Because if I remember correctly, he was like crispy. This guy is just a little black painted. And I like I said, I should have watched the movie. I love that movie. I love Deadpool 2. I should have watched it again before reviewing this. And forgive me, guys, for not doing that. But it's cool to get the little teddies. I don't remember what it was that separated this from the standard version. But you could have bought the regular version or the deluxe version. And whatever it was that they were offering in the deluxe version, I said to myself, oh, dude, you've got to buy the deluxe version. So, of course, I did. And Toys R Us are really stepping up the game, man. Look at this. A color instruction manual. Batteries go inside the head, so his eye lights up. Oh, man. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was the light up eye. So this is like the standard Toys era base that we've gotten. So my Lady Katana and my the Steel, and of course Lady Katana is Lady Deadpool, and the Steel is Colossus. Have this same base. And I've got Colossus from Deadpool 2 on order. Steel 2. And if you notice, or if you watch some of my other videos, I talked about Colossus in the first Deadpool. And the way that they made him, they used a lot of movie magic. And unfortunately, there was one step that they made a mistake on, and they didn't catch it and go back and fix it. They essentially had an actor, and I forget his name. There was like 5 people that they literally used to make Colossus. So they essentially had an actor walking around on stilts to make him taller than everyone else. And what they didn't do is they didn't stretch his arms to the proper height. Because Da Vinci's pointed out to us that we're a perfect circle when we stand as such, with our arms out and whatever else. A perfect circle is made. Well, when they did this, all right, and made him taller and did the feet, they should have stretched his arms out proportionately that much more. The rest of his body seemed to be pretty well, and they just didn't do that. In Deadpool 2, it appears that his arms are the proper length. So, Toys R Us was so faithful to this. And like I said, bravo Toys R Us, they're really stepping up their game. They made the original Colossus, the Toys R Us Steel, with the shorter arms just like he is in the movie. So that way you can either look at it from either side of the coin. You have a movie accurate figure or whatever. So the new one, it looks like in the movie, for fact, his arms are the proper length. They're properly proportioned when you're looking at him. And the Toys R Us Colossus 2, or the Steel 2 from Deadpool 2, has the right arm lengths as well. Greetings from Austria. Sweet. I'm Forever TV. Good to have you. Put a polo type shirt on a dryer for 10-15 minutes so they are half dry and they won't shrink. You're probably right. And I'm lazy like that. You know what I mean? I just wash all my clothes together. But I can wash this one. I can throw this in the dryer for the full 60 minutes or whatever it takes. My dryer has one of those sensors that you just hit like dry, and once it detects no more moisture in there, it shuts off. I've gone out there, sometimes it's going to be running for like an hour and a half. Sometimes I've gone out there and the clothes are done in 30 minutes. And hang them so yeah. Sup, Siri Rick, what's going on, my noble? It was the other teddy bear fire and the eye. Okay, so the difference between the deluxe was the eye and the other teddy bear. So I guess what you're saying is that the standard edition only comes with one of the teddy bears. It doesn't have the light up eye. And because I'll tell you, I don't see any other head sculpt in here. So this is it. You get the one head sculpt that you either you can either light up or not. And this is interesting, the way Toys R Us does this with their figure stand is it's a standard crotch grabber here, and you can use any crotch grabber. This happens to be a shorter one. Actually, one of these, I don't remember whether it was by Toys R Us or another one, actually split right here on the side, and this guy just busted clean out of it. So you might want to stick then with the shorter one, and maybe that's why they give the shorter one in this for that. But I like how they do this because this base is big, and what you do when you put it on here like such, sheesh, there we go. It centers your figure a little more on the base. So it's neat how they do that. But you can use any other crotch grabber in that regards, even the new Hot Toys ones that for like the Spider-Man, actually essentially the new Infinity War figure stands have kind of like this rectangular piece as well. So I imagine you could use those also if you wanted to. But I don't think Cable, if I remember correctly, Cable's not a flying figure. He's not a flying character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'm just going to be posing him kind of chilling. He comes with a full-on arsenal. And I noticed here in the instructions, it says that his weapon will attach to his back magnetically. And if you remember, he builds his weapon when he gets to our time. What? There's a little carabiner here. And it actually opens up. You know, those little clips or whatever. Isn't this how he had his little teddy hanging? I don't remember. Oh, God, forgive me, please. I feel like I'm letting you down, and I'm so terribly sorry. But this guy actually opens up. There's a little I don't know what you call it, nut, actually spins on it. Thank you for attention to detail. Sheesh. Well, Hot Toys better watch out. I'm about to get on the Toys R Us kick, man. I'm thinking of Doctor Strange's rings. What a mess that was. All right. Well, his pistols do not rack back. We have two styles of pistols here. This one looks like it's, I don't know. I don't know what they are, to tell you the truth. I don't know that much about firearms. Hot Toys definitely has, all right. So we get the magazine can come out of it, complete with a little round in it. And this is important because if you're photographing your figures, well, this one racks. Okay, so this one racks. You can slide the slide to expose a round in the chamber. We're ready to be put into the chamber. This one does not. But it does have a magazine inside of it. I first stated at Hot Toys a little bit, they delayed the Batman for a third time to a delayed date of May and June now. Yeah, I learned with the Hulkbuster that Hot Toys sometimes does whatever they want to do. Sometimes, Hot Toys all the times does whatever it is they want to do. Oh, this is cool. I like the, weren't those like grenades? Isn't that what's launched out of that? This is amazing. This thing is a monster. And it comes with extra pieces here. Did any of you guys get this guy? Okay, so according to the instructions, we take this magazine and we slide it in here with the round in it, and you can see the rounds all the way through the magazine. Like such. And then it says this piece slides on to the back with this notch towards the front of it. And then it stops. And I assume this is so that you can portray him assembling it. And then it says this piece slides on through the front with the trigger towards the trigger. And they stop. You just slide them on until they stop. Look at that. Jeez. That's insane, man. That's awesome. I'm loving it. And comes with its own little box in case you want to store them in this instead of them being out. And now we have hands. So he's packing fists. We get a pair of grasping hands, I guess is what I like to call these. The detail on the hands can be a little better, I'll say. The fingertips aren't that well defined on this grasping hand. It looks a little unrefined. So that's an area of improvement, in my opinion. But I'm digging these. Kind of like Rob Liefeld, not able to draw feet, right? You get these kind of relaxed hands. And again, yeah, my only complaint here is that these fingertips could be just a little more, I don't know, refined. I don't know how to say it really. Something in the sculpting process, in the mold making process, they just lost a lot of the detail. And I imagine that's something that will come to them as their artists continue to grow. And here you have a trigger finger, and this looks like it would be the grasping finger for, or grasping hand for underneath the shotgun. Nope, maybe I'm getting it when it comes to SoCal this summer. There you go. Would you ever work for Hot Toys? Heck yeah, man. Shoot, yeah. Could you imagine? Jeez. The inside secrets. Ooh. I like that video that Hot Toys made last month. They talk about how much time they go into making a figure. They talk about, they spend, I think it's 2 weeks just researching it before it even go anywhere. They said, I think it was, they said 10 days, and I imagine it's 10 business days, that they just research the character before even putting pen to paper or mouse to screen. And then, they spend weeks even developing it after that, and it shows. It really shows. And I'm so happy over the years how much quality has been in the recreation of the characters that they're making. The quality of the product that they're producing could improve. Um, and I guess you have to realize that there's always going to be some quality issue. You know what I'm saying? Even when you buy a new car, that's why they have a warranty on them, because they know that something might break down or not work right. But I wish that Hot Toys would do a little bit better on their quality in that regards. So yeah, if you can get a shoe in there for me for Hot Toys, let me know, Rick. Da, 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 da. Can you recommend me any third-party companies looking for more 1/6 figures and accessories? Han, I'll tell you what, man. The Follow me on Facebook, because anytime I see anything that pops up, no matter who it is that it makes it, I try to share it on my 1/6 scale news and reviews page on Facebook. The major players seem to be Toys R Us and who is that makes the Poison and the Mantis figure? Is it Very Cool? Don't remember now. But they're coming around now. If you're looking for other things like military figures, there's a company called DID, and there's another military figure company. I can't remember what their name is right now, but they're out there. And I'll tell you, I remember when I first got into this particular hobby of 1/6, I was like, oh man, everything, I want it all. And I was ready to just start ordering stuff left and right. And I didn't care where it was or how it related to me or what the story behind it was. It was a 1/6 scale, and I was going gaga over it. And thankfully, I didn't have the money to just buy all these figures. But man, I was just going to buy anything that came out 1/6. But as you can see, for me, and I imagine a lot of you can probably attest to a similar story, it becomes this immense collection that I've fallen in love with. And I've got pushing 200 figures, almost 200 figures. And it gets to the point where you really have to get one that you love. Fison slash TB League, amazing. They make some figures with executive replicas. Works with Fison. If you want figures that are the bodies are amazing, oh man, Fison. What part of the world do you live in? Because there's companies that are in certain parts of the world that might be easier for you to get your figures from. I buy all my toys, figure accessories from Big Bad Toy Store unless they don't have it. Like this, they didn't sell this, so I bought it from 1/6 Kit, which I have bought a handful of figures in that way as well. eBay is a great place to find figures. eBay charges a lot of fees, especially PayPal, but you're protected on your purchase from a shifty seller. And I hate to say that, but sometimes there's people who are out to take advantage of you and not provide you a quality product. I have bought stuff on Facebook directly from somebody that the community in Facebook could vouch for, and I have not been mispleased there. If you're buying anything used, though, study the pictures and ask questions, because a couple of times I've bought something on eBay, and if I literally studied the picture, right in the picture, I could see that, for instance, the wrist was broken, or that it was missing a gauntlet on an arm, and it's full disclosure there. So you can't then turn around and contact eBay and say, "Nah, this guy he messed me over. He sold me some broken stuff." And the guy simply responds and says, "No, eBay. If you look at the picture right here, I'm showing it to him. He didn't look." So just be careful of that and ask questions. But man, you will have no problem finding 1/6 scale, especially now. These figures they're releasing so many figures a month at this point that it's hard to keep up. And then the reissues on top of that. Welcome to the hobby. If you're new to the hobby, it sounds like you're possibly new to the hobby. Welcome to it. It's quite a deal. It really is. Hearing Captain Marvel is getting great reviews, which is good. Yeah, thank you. I was wondering that because I've got a Captain Marvel video that I've been working on, and I'm really nervous about that. So I'm happy that what I'm hearing isn't anybody walking out of there feeling that they've been admonished, and that's what I hope. So I am planning on seeing it, but if I walk out of there with a bad taste in my mouth, I will probably be canceling my Captain Marvel figure. I'll tell you that. I won't. I won't purchase a product to a movie that I can't stand. What's the point? Every time I'll look at that figure, I would just have hatred for it. So I won't buy a figure for a movie I can't stand. But I do have my Captain Marvel on order, pre-order, and I. Speaking of, I did not get the deluxe, but I'm working on that. Whether or not I want to get the deluxe, it's so difficult because putting out a deposit on a figure and then turning around and saying, "Yeah, I don't want it," and you're losing out on that deposit. Like I lost out on my deposit for Doctor Strange Infinity Wars because I just didn't have the money to buy it, and when it came out ready to be shipped by Sideshow, and so I lost, I don't know what it was, $27 or $37 or something like that. I think it was $27. I mean, that sucks. $27 is a lot. It's a lot of money, and I hate losing it, but I lost $27 compared to spending $350 on it, and I talked myself out of the figure. The head sculpt on the new Doctor Strange is amazing, and man, I love that head sculpt. And they got the hands right now. This time they added the right hands to it. If you remember, I had to customize my hands on my Doctor Strange. If you watch my Doctor Strange video, I had to make his hands custom because he didn't have, this, which is what he needs to do his, I forget what they're called, the gateways, or whenever he uses his rings. And they didn't provide that hand, so I had to make that hand. Well, in the new Doctor Strange, they're there, but the head sculpt is right on. So I kind of regret that, but other than that, the figure's identical. So I talked myself into, well, you don't really need another one because you already got a Doctor Strange. So I do wish that I did get it, but I didn't. Romania, beautiful. Thank you, Han. Welcome back. It's welcome. It's really hard to get any figures here. I generally order Big Bad Toy Store. There you go, and eBay. I think there's a European country called Robot. So what are they called? The Good, the Bad, and the Robot, or The Good, the Evil, and the Robot, or something like that. That I think is in Europe. But Big Bad Toy Store, 1/6 kit, the Falcon's hanger. Once it's there's another one. Here we go. 1/6 Outfitters. Those are all areas that you might be able to find figures from. But eBay definitely. And you might be able to get Toy Sapiens. They are the Japanese Hot Toys, and because you're in Europe or Eurasia, they might be able to ship to you. I don't know if they consider Romania Europe or Eurasia, or what part of the world they actually consider that. You would know better than I would. Rick, advice when someone asks, "What should my first figure be?" My advice: stick to Hot Wheels. It's addictive. I think you mean Hot Toys, right? It is addictive, man. My advice on top of that is get what you want. I mean, want it. You really have to want it. Just don't look at it and say, "Oh yeah, that's a 1/6 figure, and I want it because it's 1/6, and I'm gonna have a little collection that's gonna be this and that, whatever else." When you own a figure like this that can range anywhere from, I mean, even the least expensive figure. If you're buying just a figure, you might still find some for a little over $100. It's a lot of money. And Hot Toys figures now are pumping between $250 and $350 for the most part. There's some more deluxe Hot Toys figures that are $4 or $5, $1,000 plus, like my Hulkbuster. So they can really get in there in price. And the last thing that you want to do is drop $300 on a figure, plus tax and shipping and import and customs and whatever else that you have to pay on top of all of that for a figure you really don't dig. You know what I mean? And when you look at it and you're like, huh, I could have used that $300 on something else. It really kind of sinks into you hard. Hold on to your money till you see the figure that you want. See the figure that really speaks to you or completes your collection. I've got the Deadpool collection here. I've got Sideshow Deadpool. I got the Steel too. So Sideshow Deadpool is kind of like the comic version Deadpool. I've got the Steel. I got Colossus. I've got Deadpool from the first movie. I've got Deadpool from the second movie. I've got the Deadpool, they call it the Dusty version, which is after the explosion, which turns his suit dark gray, which is kind of a throwback to X-Force. I've got Lady Deadpool. I've got uh, Deadpool Kid bust from Gentle Giant. I've got Squirrel Pool, a couple of dog pools, a couple of head pools. And so this is part of the Deadpool collection. So that's why I bought this figure, because it completes a collection. Am I a Cable fan? No, like I said, I didn't read any of the comics. I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed Josh Brolin's character that he created. Would I buy a Juggernaut? Heck yeah, I would buy a Juggernaut. If someone were to make me a Juggernaut, or if someone were making a Juggernaut, I would buy it. I've seen a couple of people, or I've seen at least one, somebody was working on a custom Juggernaut. I assume Juggernaut's about the size of Hulk. That would be a good body base, and you just need to get the suit. I'd buy that kid. What's his name? Fire Fist or whatever. Negasonic Teenage Warrior or whatever her name is, Warhead. I'd buy, all of that. I would get them all. And I don't know why there's no Negasonic yet. I've not seen a Negasonic. Is it Negasonic or Megasonic? Negasonic, isn't it? Do you watch any toy reviewers on YouTube? Oh yeah, yeah. And believe it or not, Sean Long and Chartemis Prime are friends of mine. And congratulations, Sean, on or Chartemis on the Toys News International Toy Reviewer of the Year award, which I wasn't even nominated for, guys. Come on. I know I'm better than that. I would appreciate a nomination. Shameless plug there. I do watch them. And for instance, I cried when we lost. Oh, gosh. My memory is raw off me, but the guy that died was a little over a year ago, who had Stan Lee whenever he would open up his packages. Stan Lee unboxing with him. What is his name? So yeah, I watched other reviewers. Denobi, I love Denobi. Optibotimus, of course. I heard Sean Long stop collecting Hot Toys, which made me sad. I liked his reviews. Um, it becomes an issue of price again. Sean, just like all of us, his collection at his house, it's huge. He has a huge collection, and of not just Hot Toys, of everything. Every room in his house, it seems, is just filled to the rim with figures and things that he's bought. And he's a big kid. He's a big kid in that regards. So I hadn't heard specifically that he has stopped purchasing Hot Toys. I know he's got some for sale that he's trying to sell some of his figures. And as a matter of fact, he's going to be at Toy Fusion tomorrow here in Sacramento to sell some of his figures. And so if you are out here or happen to have that ability to do that, or if you're looking for a figure that he's got, you can go to his Facebook page and contact him and buy one of his figures. So, but I would doubt to say I would probably say that if he has stopped collecting or buying Hot Toys, it isn't because he's making a statement or whatever, or is changing away. I think it's just because money. It's a huge issue. Again, back to the $300 a figure. Glenn Webb, yeah, man, sheesh, I cried when Glenn died. What a mess. So yeah, it's a big family. Welcome to the family, literally. It's a big family, and I've never met Denobi. I would love to meet Denobi. One of these days, I'll have to see if I can't make a trip out there, to where he is. I've spoken with him on several occasions, and I'd love to meet Optibotimus. I'd love to meet some of these guys. I'm sure you guys feel the same way, but it's a big family. Chartemis, oh my God, what an amazing man. Sean Long loves everybody. I don't think I've ever seen Sean Long not love anyone. And Chartemis is such a huge, dedicated man. He really works his tail off. For me, I have a job, a 40-hour plus week job, and that takes away most of my time. And so all of this is in addition to that. And I have my car, which I take to car shows, and I play video games on my computer. And so then all of this is really like the fourth in the line of it all. And um, I don't necessarily work on this as hard as, for instance, Shartimus does. That dude, he really, he's raising his children with his wife, and she's a wonderful woman. And he dedicates when he gets to work, man. I've been over here while he's making videos. That dude works. I mean, he is. There is no joke about it, and he's passionate about the figures too. I mean, I think we all are. And so, yeah, that answers any of your questions. 2 years ago, wow, has it been that long now? Jeez, that really was a shock. And it was really even it was and I'm not trying to be careful how to say this. When he passed, and the news went out. I think it was his someone close to him. Like, so I'm trying to be careful how to say this. Someone close to him posted that he had passed, and next thing you know, boom, a video popped up, and it's like, what? And of course, what it was is he had scheduled videos out, which sometimes, like even Sardimus does, when they know they're going to be gone, they'll make videos still to pop up on the days that are upcoming. So if they're going on vacation, they'll make 5 videos, blah, 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 so that you guys can still watch a video every single day, even though they're not actually up there uploading the videos. The videos are uploaded later. So when Glenn passed, the videos were still popping up, and that created, a kind of conspiracy theory that he really wasn't gone, but he was really gone. And man, what a tragic thing. Marvel Legends. So on that, there are figures, or there are characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe who are multi-scaled. So I will buy figures that represent that. So there's, the change between 1/6 down. And I try to keep it to the point of it's really got to look like it. You know what I mean? I'm just not going to buy something that if it doesn't look, for the most part, as close as they possibly can in the scale that they're making it, like the figure. And that's not so much case anymore as it was just a couple of years ago. So a couple of years ago, I have an Ant-Man even that doesn't really look like the movie Ant-Man. And I don't remember who made that specific figure. And I have them in the scale up and down. So for instance, I can show you, this will be easier to show you over here. So yeah, if it fits the plan, they're reasonably priced, and if I wasn't already spending this amount of money in this, I would, but as far as that goes, that's really what I can say. This is the Ant-Man from Captain America Civil War. And as you can see, I have him posed here with, I'm pretty sure that's a Marvel Legends right there. Could be an SH Figure Arts. I'm pretty sure it's Marvel Legends. And then a couple other smaller Ant-Man there. So I'll buy them if they fit with the story, because I'm telling a story here. You know what I mean? This is a story of the Ant-Man being able to become the Ant-Man. Heck, I would buy larger ones. If NECA, which makes a lot of quarter scale, or if anybody made a quarter scale figure of this that again looked like the figure, I'd buy it in a minute. Like the Hulk. I've contemplated buying. I think they made it. Didn't they make a 1/4 scale Hulk? But I didn't much care for how it looked. It didn't quite match, so I passed on it. But I bought these scales outside of Hulk's, outside of 1/6 scale, and they don't really match. And but I'm kind of trying to tell a story in the collecting. So here's his time traveling badge, and we get 3 of these extra clips for his firearm, and 3 more of these. Wait a minute. Okay, so those are silver. Those are gold. 3 of these. Three of these little guys. Back all this up here so you can see these. And I don't know why there's multiple holsters. There's some clips on. This one has 2 clips on it. They're definitely a right leg holster. I'm wondering if maybe there's 2 of them in the movie. And again, gosh, I'm sorry guys that I did not watch the movie recently enough to be able to tell you. Maybe that's why there's 2 different firearms. Maybe throughout the movie he had 2 different firearms. I need to make me a brick. Remember Deadpool? Deadpool's like, hey, can I use your weapon or whatever? And he's like, no. And he goes, fine, I'll use this brick. In the big fight scene there in the end. And here's a clip for his clips. A clip for his clips. So that's everything he comes with. I don't see batteries, so either they're already installed or they weren't included. Molded neck, complete with the arm, or you know, the cyborganism. Seems to be pretty strong. It definitely hangs on there. Yeah, there you go. That will hang. Should you desire, you want to pose them in that manner. Logan. I'm trying to remember if I've seen Logan. The X-Men universe has been so disappointing to me in so many ways, and I hope that they, from my understanding, with purchases of Hot Toys, or I mean, the Disney's doing of all of these. Look at his eyes. That would bring X-Men universe into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I hope that they do, and I hope that, again, Captain Marvel isn't a statement movie, because I'm really not in the mood for a statement. Dude, I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. So here's this little neck piece that pops into his neck, which doesn't move, but this obviously does. So take that off. Let's flip the switch, see if the battery's already in it. There's a little switch inside of there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Use a screwdriver. See if I can flip it. Put on my reading glasses so I can see this. Jeez. Can't tell if I'm flipping the switch or not. Yeah, with Logan. Yeah, it was a sad movie. I remember it now. I just saw 300 on cable starring Gerard. Dude, what'd you think of that? I thought that was an amazing movie, and it's based loosely on actual events. So the stories go that we've been told for centuries. What an amazing movie. Let's see. They did the Quarter Hulk from Age of Ultron. Yeah, yeah. I was looking at that. For some reason, I passed on it. I don't remember why. I hope Hot Toys doesn't kill me on in-game pre-orders. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know, right? And by the way, I pre-ordered the Punisher diecast War Machine. As I was looking at that, originally I thought it was just a repaint, but no, there's a lot of changes. There's no arc reactor, for instance, in the chest. So I went ahead and dropped some money on the deposit on that. So I will be getting that in a year and a half or whenever it comes out. Wonder Woman was not a statement movie, and it was good. Not every movie must have. Yes, thank you. Not every movie has to have a statement. And I don't mind a movie that does have a statement, but it shouldn't be, I don't know. There's a difference between enough and too much. You know what I'm saying? And for instance, the first Hulk of this century, the Ang Lee Hulk, which I don't remember what it was called. I think it was just called The Hulk. And Ang Lee's a great director. It was so much storyline that there wasn't enough Hulk. And because of that, and several other reasons, from my understanding, that is not considered, for the most part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe at all. So the Hulk story that was done with Edward Norton, which I think was the Incredible Hulk, I don't remember. That one actually is the first considered Marvel Cinematic Universe Hulk. So I kind of got the impression also from watching Into the Spider Verse, the comic Spider-Man movie that was out. It may still be out in theaters. I don't know. This was an amazing, amazing, amazing movie, and I'm a Spider-Man fan. You wouldn't know it from my lack of Spider-Man figures. I really need to buy the Tobey Maguire figures. I really need to buy the Andrew Garfield figures. From watching the Spider-Verse movie, they made a lot of comparisons to the Tobey Maguire movie, references in it. And I'll say this, they were actually planning two more movies with Tobey Maguire. There were supposed to be two, there's supposed to be a series of five of those. And three was such a bomb because it just got stupid. They didn't make four and five. But back then, even, Venom was supposed to appear in San Francisco. Eddie Brock was supposed to leave New York and go to San Francisco, and that was going to be continued into the story where they didn't really kill Venom. They kind of left it like as if they killed him at the end of volume of Spider-Man 3. But, the notes out then were that they didn't kill Venom at all, and he was going to show up in San Francisco. Eddie Brock was going to show up in San Francisco. So the new Venom story, which kind of is a little weird the way that they did it, still kind of works along what the original time frame or guideline is. And it's kind of also why they didn't really give us a full-on retelling of the Spider-Man story in this movie because we already knew it. We've seen it with Tobey Maguire, we've seen it with Andrew Garfield, and I'm talking about Tom Holland's Spider-Man. We didn't get a retelling of his beginnings. We already know it. And you can use whatever beginning you want, essentially. Like a Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man for that story. And Tom Holland's my Spider-Man now, and Andrew Garfield, he's having a hard time fitting into my Spider-Man. But I enjoyed the Spider-Verse because it shows, seven different Spider-Men when you actually think about it, that are from all the alternate universes. So now I'm like, same it is with Deadpool. Dude, I would buy every Deadpool or custom make every Deadpool from every Deadpool universe that there is. Every Marvel universe has a Deadpool, you would imagine. And same thing then as Spider-Verse has shown us. Every Marvel universe, every Earth has a Spider-Man. And you can go bananas. And man, looking at Spider-Man's movie Far From Home, Oh man, so we get like it appears to be similar to the Spider Noir. So look out for that. I've got the VGM, it was Advanced Spider-Man and the Punk Spider-Man ordered too. But I need to track down the black suit, all the Tobey Maguires, and I need to track down the Andrew Garfields. I need to get those Spider-Man. Need them for my collection. What figures you got there? This is Toys Era's The Mechanical. It is Cable. That's who it is. And I took his head off so I could turn his eye on. I couldn't see the little thing. I had to put some glasses on to be able to see the little on-off switch. I wasn't sure if I was flipping it or not. Man, this is a smaller one than that. And then I got talking. Sometimes I start yapping and my lips start flapping and my fingers stop working. The Nobi 2 uses a small electric. Yes, he does. Ouch! For switching batteries. Yes, he does. And I bought it, and it was really good. I use sometimes this little guy right here. He's got a little light on him. Right there. Yep. Sure makes it a lot easier. Sometimes, though, Hot Toys specifically, again, back to their quality issues, I don't know what in the world, they'll strip out the threads on a screw. And you ain't getting out of there without drilling it. And I've had to do that on a couple occasions. So I'm not taking this on. It appears all I have to do is just flip the switch because there's no battery. So either they didn't include the battery or it's already in it and all I have to do is flip the switch. So let's see what happens. Nothing. Well, let's take it out. Let's take it out. By the way, so you've heard collectors, even I've talked about this. Don't leave your batteries in your figures. That's that can't be that can't be any more truthful than it is. Don't leave your batteries in your figures. If you want to light your figure up, light it up, play with it, enjoy it, show it off, and then take the batteries out. Um, I'd heard that before, and I'd kind of like shrugged it off. Where I live, there's it's wine country, so the humidity is really low here. It's where they grow the Napa Valley, where the California wines are grown, and so I figured, well, maybe this is happening in higher humidity places, where maybe the liquid in the air is causing these batteries to rot or disintegrate or whatever. Dude, I'm sitting here in the office one day, and all of a sudden I start hearing bang, pop. It was a pop. And long story short, the batteries were exploding. So thankfully, they were not batteries that were in any figures that were exploding, but just batteries in my little box. At that moment, I removed all of the batteries from my figures. And are you kidding me? Here's one that's literally stripped. We are just talking about that, right? Talking about how Hot Toys will strip them in there. This one's stripped. I might not be able to light this up today. Sorry, guys. Here we go. There we go. There we go. No batteries. So be forewarned. when you purchase this, batteries are not included. And one way or the other, it doesn't matter to me. I've got so many batteries, it's not even funny. I've thought about selling them when they come in because I don't use them. See if I can figure out which batteries go in here. See what it says on the instruction manual. Can't use my reading glasses when I'm reading. Unplug the head and unscrew the screw. Insert 3 pieces of button batteries. Battery model AG4. I got AG4s. I want to see him light up. I'm obsessing on this dude. I hope you guys don't mind. I want to see his eye light up. This is the box. The box of batteries. The life essence of all of the hot toys. Complete with silica gel packages to try to keep the moisture out of the batteries. LR621. What else is an AG4 called? You guys know? In case I have to find. LR41. LR930. Anybody know? AG4. What else is it? What's the LR? You're right about that Punisher Win very unique figure. Yeah, I got it on pre-order. Yes, BBTS. The main problem is that it's coming out around the same time as the Infinity War Machine. Going to drain my bank account. Christmas kills me every year at Christmas time. They drop a lot of figures, so that's my heavy time. I can only give you advice that I don't even follow myself. Stick the money aside monthly. You know what I mean? And that way the money's there. I don't even follow that advice myself, but that's the perfect way of doing it. However many months it is, divide that out and sock away $20 every month, $25 or something, and that way when it's out, you've got the $300 or whatever it is to get the figure. What is it? I know it's got to be over $300 because he's a die-cast War Machine. Ruben, did anyone pre-order the Punisher War Machine? Yeah, Ruben, we were just talking about that. Sure enough, if all PS4 suits for Spider-Man, let me put it this way. Yes, please. I want all of the PS4 Spider-Man suits. I want them all. Well, I take that back. I really don't care for the pajama boxer shorts one, big freaking whoop, but I would buy them all. I would. That's no joke. Like I said, Spider-Man is my man. He's my comic book guy. Superman is Superman. Can't argue Superman. Can't argue Batman. Love those guys as well. Iron Man became my guy because of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But it's Spider-Man. That's my guy. And like I said, I'm so embarrassed that I don't have a full-on Spider-Man collection. I should. I should have a full-on Spider-Man collection. That's how much of a Spider-Man nut I am. So, Elton John, how you doing, man? Sir, are you getting the Mark V? Yes, I am. What is your opinion on that? I'm happy that they did that, and it's kind of like the arm for Hulkbuster. So, the only question I have about the Hulkbuster arm is, how in the world is it going to go on that figure? I've even debated getting Hulkbuster again. One of the things that I was talking with Terrence T, who Singapore SG, I think is his Instagram name, who probably has the most complete Hot Toys Iron Man figure collection in the entire world. And I'm not talking about sponsored like through working at Hot Toys or Sideshow. Obviously they would have a complete collection. This dude has got a complete collection and a lot of custom figures, he had a picture of the Hulkbuster 2 and the Hulkbuster, and the Hulkbuster 2 appeared to be the same size as Hulkbuster. Now, in the movie, I didn't get the impression. I thought the Hulkbuster 2 was much smaller, like around the size of Igor. So I can't wait for my Hulkbuster 2 to come because it appears that it's really the same size as the Hulkbuster. And I thought that I put in the video that he's shorter. Um, but I remember in the movie, Mark Ruffalo, Bruce Banner says, this guy or something to that effect already beat the Hulk or something like that, leading me to believe that it really was just an upgraded suit, which explains the appearance of the suit in Spider-Man: Homecoming, and when Happy's like loading the old Hulkbuster. So, what are we looking for? AG4s? You don't mind just put any batteries in here. I'm just gonna put these three. I think these will work. I don't know if they're the correct ones, but these are the ones that we want to put in. I'm not gonna keep digging. Da, 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 da. I'm still fighting myself against it, but I pre-ordered Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and Iron Man, plus the Infinity War machine. I've done that as well, and I am very pleased. Black Panther is another set that I would buy every single one of those main characters if they were to make them. So I've got Shuri on order. I have T'Challa. I have T'Chaka, the king. I have his figure. I've got Killmonger, Eric Killmonger on order. I've got the Throne on order. So I'm really digging the Black Panther. And I've really enjoyed the special effects and the visuals on Black Panther. And the acting was done well. The characters were believable in the movie. But I don't necessarily believe that it deserves the hype that it's been getting. I'm happy that it's got that hype, and that's awesome. But I think a lot of it has to do with reasons other than the fact that it was a good movie. It was a good movie. Was it the best doggone movie I've ever seen in my life? Not even close. Not even close. But it was a good movie, and it was really amazing visually. And that's my opinion on that. For instance, dude, I would like to have one of those 1/6 scale planes that Shield uses or the Avengers use. I have no idea even where I would put it. It would probably be as wide as this table, or wider. But it's the Millennium Falcon of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The little plane that the Avengers use or Agents of Shield use, and different variations. Obviously, and it really wouldn't matter which one to me, any one of those variations. But that'll never happen. Boy, that would be cool. Sheesh. For your information, the accessories come in normal version and special edition. Check Sideshow website. I ordered it through Sideshow. I hope I got the special edition. Yeah, now you're making me nervous. You're making me nervous. Did I get it with the special edition? How would you know what's the order number? Because it's like 9020508, and then you add like a 1 behind it for special edition. Going into Sideshow. And I ordered it through Sideshow because Big Bad Toy Store didn't have it at that time. Hulkbuster 2 looks smaller. Yes, it did. Okay. MRC Collections Adventure Review versus the Hulkbuster original recipe. All right, well, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Like I said, the photograph that I've seen by Terrence, they appear to be the same size, and I asked for clarification on it, and I thought he said that it was just the angle, but I don't know. I'll be happy to get my figure. Similar size issues with the Guardians of the Galaxy versus Infinity War Thanos. Yes, there's a huge size issue difference there. And I have my Guardians of the Galaxy up here in the corner. You can see the Chitauri, and he's right next to the Chitauri. wiggle this just a little bit. Should be able to see him. He's over there on the throne, and you should be able to see him now. And he will stay on the throne. So, and obviously I'm getting the Infinity War Thanos as well. Even though they're different size, it doesn't matter. It's just, for whatever reason, they hadn't totally fleshed them out in Guardians of the Galaxy, whereas obviously in Infinity War he's totally been made a real character. More drastic, obviously, I guess it was hard to gauge just sitting Thanos. Yep, I'm with you. Let's see. Robert, morning, don't ditch us like that last week. Oh, man, sorry, man. Phone rang. The boss, the man that actually gives me the money to play, needed my assistance. I had to actually get to work. So like I said, it's 40 plus hours working for the man. Hopefully this works beautifully. Hopefully I turn this on and I'm like blown away. Alrighty. Okay. These batteries may be going dead because it sure ain't bright. And they might not be the right batteries. But the left eye does light up. It's a little orange. I don't know if you'll even be able to see that. But it is lit up. And I imagine if I put the correct batteries in there or fresh batteries in there, it would probably work beautifully. And I think they just went dead. But all that for that, it does work. It's just the pupil that lights up, so not the white area of the eye, just the round circle and it lights up orange. And with it off, you can barely see the detail of the eye. And I'm not saying that negatively. I'm just saying it specifically. They did a really good job with that. I mean, it's a tough task to tackle, to make an eye that not only has the color and the design and the proper look of it, and to light up at the same time. So kudos and bravo for doing that, and hopefully that this real low light is a factor of batteries and not a factor of the paint that's keeping the light from shining through. So long story short, though, until I spend $1,000+ on lighting these guys up, he won't be lit up anyhow. But for those of you that do light them up, here is that ability to do that with this specific figure, if that helps you at all. It is Cable. Yes, it is. My favorite MCU character in order from best to cool: Cap, Bucky, Ant-Man, Black Widow, and Wasp. Wasp is pretty cool. I can't wait to see the Wasp. Work comes first. Got to pay those Hot Toys and Figma figures. Still waiting for the Shield Hero figure. What's that one? Do you have a Dremel to drill that screw? I do. I sure do. I got some tools, but I'm gonna replace that. This screw won't be going back in. But yeah, there was one recently that I got. Was it my Mark 46? I don't remember. I think it's my Mark 46 concept that they stripped it out when they put it in. They just put the screw in too tight or something, and I could see that happening. Here they are in some type of assembly line, assembling our figures, and in goes the thing. In comes the electric screwdriver, because you know they're not hand turning those things, and and if it's set to the wrong temperature or torque, or the guy's got it, hold it on there too long, boom, it goes in there so tightly that when you start trying to take it out, instead of backing the screw out of the hole, you end up stripping the head on the screw, and you can't unscrew it. So that happens a lot. Attempted getting that 1/6 Tom Hardy Venom. Yeah, I ordered the poison made by Too Cool, and I've seen 2 or 3 other Venoms that have been out now through third-party retailers, and same thing. It's kind of like, yeah, should I get that Tom Hardy one? He's looking pretty good. It comes with the, the metamorphing or the changing face even. It looks nice. I don't see anything wrong with any of the third-party guys yet, to tell you the truth. I really haven't been necessarily disappointed. A lot of times when you're buying just the accessory outfits, like my Daphne and Velma from Scooby-Doo, they will include a head sculpt, but it's kind of just like their basic head sculpt. So they're not making Daphne and Velma, so you don't get necessarily that. And then you're having to use a body like a Fison or Jow, a secondary body for these suits. So then you have no one to blame but yourself. Other than that, of late, this time in life, these figures are dead on. So you're not going to be, in my opinion, disappointed on getting any figure from a third party, or it's like you were talking about getting frustrated waiting. The Mystique figure I ordered, who was making that? I forget now. It's going on 2 years. 2 years waiting for that bad boy. So this little piece holds in there pretty good, even without the screws. But if you're having batteries in there, you're going to definitely need to have the screws holding that piece on there. Make sure I grab the one that's not stripped out. There we go. And I will put it in there. Put his head back on. By the way, speaking of, I ordered the Electro, not Electra, Electro from Amazing Spider-Man, because after the refund from paying full price for them, well, that's kind of terrible. They could have. Get this a stick here. The hole here is just a problem. I may have to. Anyhow, after paying whatever it is, $229, they then turn around and give you a $175 store credit at Big Bad Toy Store, and he ends up being $50. $50. So you want a Hot Toys figure 1/6 scale, and you like Iron Man or Spider-Man, and you enjoy, was it Jamie Foxx that played that character from the movie? $50, man. How can you go wrong? So I got that in order. Or I paid for it, I should say. And so it will probably be here next week. Can't get that in. I'll just put them together. I will deal with that later. I'll get his head back on. Yep, let's throw the screw on the ground. All right, there we go. Cable is himself again. It was kind of funny seeing one actor portray two characters. Obviously Deadpool, when it came out, it wasn't part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was outside of that because it was owned by Fox. And with the Disney acquisition of Fox, then that would put Deadpool in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which would make Josh Brolin a multi-figure, multiplayer. I think there's other people that did the same thing too, weren't there? I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Steve Rogers, right? Toys are giving Hot Toys, yes it is, kicking their butt, and they're catching up there. How do you get a stripped screw out? I have that issue with Mark 7. It's drill. You got to drill it out. I hate to say that. And sometimes I've ended up having to damage the figure so much so, digging it out. So I've got, I think, one or two where I literally just had to dig it out from getting it in there. And a lot of times it'll be like in the arm for the light up on the thing. And fortunately, you can't see where that is. And sometimes I'll go on eBay and track down a replacement arm or something to that effect to try to fix what got damaged, put the battery in. So yeah, that'll set you clean off. The scope's got clear glass on it on both sides. So it looks like as if you could see through it. The scope does. A little piece of red glass here, a little piece of red glass here. That's pretty cool. Let's see what his knees are. See how articulated he is. So it feels like there's a double jointed knee in there. You can actually bend it forward into an unnatural position. Bend it back up to this. It's pretty good. Looks like a full-on boot, so you don't get any real pivot there. The pivot's going to be there because there is action, but it's going to be very limited because they did the full-on boot. Some other answers to that, like Hot Toys does, is they make a shoe and then the top of the boot here, and they could have done that with this, and Toys R Us didn't for whatever reason. So imposing if you don't get the ankle pivot, some people are really upset about that. It's not going to bother me. I'm pretty sure he's just going to be standing on this. So you get that, and he opens pretty wide, and the pants seem loose enough that I don't fear any stretching in the crotch area from that, which happens to a lot of figures. And he can be made to sit, which is rare, it seems, anymore on figures. But you could sit him on the ground should you want to, as such. Because he has, the abdominal crunch and, the pelvis. And same thing with backwards. If you wanted to do kind of like a Matrix style pose, you can do that. He's got a little backwards bend also. His knees feel a little weak in the knees. But I'm going to keep him on a stand, so it's not going to phase me. And I'm not going to mess with this shirt to see how far up this goes. I'm just not going to. So it's high enough for me, and I'm pleased with it, and I don't know whether it continues. I'm assuming it did, but I'm not going to find out. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to destroy my figure. Well, I bet you that's where the little gold guys go. I will be watching the movie. Definitely. So I can pose him properly. Don't know whether I'm going to have him doing the hand pose. For instance, that's what I did here with Deadpool 2. I've got him controlling the time traveling device. And between these two, the Hot Toys one is a little more detailed. This one's pretty good details. Not bad. The Hot Toys one is more detailed. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Let's see if I can put them here side by side. So it's supposed to be the same device, and it's not bad. It's good representation. No arguing over it in regards to what it is. But that's how I've posed that guy. And then I have the Dusty Deadpool just being Dusty Deadpool. So of course, you know, this has got to go on his wrist too, because I'm pretty sure he had that on his wrist all the time. Yeah, I would love to track down all the Spider-Men, all of them, and custom make or buy or kit bash the other Spider-Men, if at all possible, from the other universes. Same thing with Deadpool. I would love to make all the Deadpools, like Champion Pool and Panda Pool and Dinosaur Pool and Kid Pool and Deadpool Kid and the whole 9 yards. Buzz, what's going on, man? So working on my kit bash. Nolan, so many damn suits. Harvey, Bruce, Alfred, Gordon. Yeah, that's kind of how it feels like with me too. Because, man, I love Star Wars. I'm not too pleased with the social justice warrior message that came out in the last couple movies. Really loved Rogue One, and you know I was raised on Star Wars and everything and anything Star Wars, and I'm really disappointed with the path that they went. And I pray that Marvel hasn't, and like you said, like someone had said, the reviews are good, that it's not doing that. So we'll have to see. But no, what I'm getting at is I can't collect everything that I want to collect. I would love a Batman grouping. All the Batmans, the Michael Keaton Batman, you know, or the Nolan Batman, Superman. I'd love to have me some Superman. Wonder Woman. At one point I was going to buy a Wonder Woman and I did not. And in Star Wars I don't even know how many stormtroopers there are. You know, Sideshow makes a ton of stormtroopers. So I wish that I could, but I've kind of had to focus just on the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Iron Mans specifically. 1/6 Kingpin, I believe. Who did? We need close-up of head sculpt. Okay. Hopefully the camera will grab it, and hopefully I'm not too close. I can get better. What is better, buying direct from Hot Toys or from Big Bad Toy Store? Okay, so you can't buy directly from Hot Toys. Okay, that's not true. There are a limited number of people who have the ability to go into Hot Toys or buy from Hot Toys. And those are people who were Hot Toys purchasers before Hot Toys became huge. And they can actually buy from Hot Toys. Other than that, everyone else has to buy from a Hot Toys distributor. And the distributors are based off of where you live in the world. So Sideshow is the distributor for North America and Europe, the Americas and Europe, if I remember correctly. And the Toy Sapiens is for Asia and I forget the other one, but that's that. So, and now there are times when there's a figure which is only going to be available from a Hot Toys distributor. A lot of deluxe or exclusive figures. For instance, Mark 30 Blue Steel was an exclusive figure which could only be purchased from a Hot Toys distributor. Big Bad Toy Store is not a Hot Toys distributor, so they can get all of the figures, but they can't get the exclusive figures. And for me, it's less expensive to purchase from Big Bad Toy Store than it is from Sideshow, because Big Bad Toy Store has their $4 shipping. And it may take longer to get to me, but it's cheaper than paying almost $30 in shipping and handling that I pay Sideshow for the exact same figure. And I live in the same state that Sideshow is in. So they'll sell the figure for similarly priced dollar amounts. Let's just say 250 versus 249.99 or something to that effect. But then I save in the shipping a huge amount in shipping. So I shop Big Bad Toy Store first. So the first thing I do when I'm looking for figures, I'm searching the Big Bad Toy Store site, and that's where I figure out where I'm buying, what figures I'm getting. So, but there are times when Big Bad Toy Store doesn't sell it because it's an exclusive, and then you got to go to Toy Sapiens or Sideshow or whomever it is that is your distributor for Hot Toys. I also have this cable figure. Yeah, I didn't even bother to try out the light up feature since it is that weak. Only downer on this figure for me. And like I said, it might not be that weak. This came out of my box of batteries. So in all defense, these batteries literally could be 5 years old. You know what I mean? There's no telling how old these batteries are, and that may be why it's weak. So it might be really bright, and I don't feel like digging through all this batteries, a box of batteries, just to find out. But please don't take that as the gospel, because the controlled environment for scientific method has not been attained. And these, I can't guarantee you that these batteries are the freshest and most charged batteries, or even that they're the right size. They may be too small. So they may be producing the proper amount of voltage, but there's not enough, or proper amount of, what would it be? Yeah, voltage, but just not enough amperage in them to light that up. And that might be the problem. So please don't take that as the gospel evidence in regards to the eye on that figure. This is Toys R Us. You're right. It's called the Mechanical, and this one's called the Mechanical, the deluxe version, which came with one of the guys reminded me it comes with the light up eye and the extra teddy bear, and I think there was something else. But this is the Mechanical, is who he is called. I think I will need another to display this awesome mecha body. You mean like to take his shirt off and all that? Yeah, I am curious. I really am curious if they did the whole body, as he is, and I'm believing that they probably did. But I'm not taking off the shirt. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, Toys R Us. They are really getting with the program, no doubt about it. Uh, Most collectors have either Iron Man or Batman collections, or Stormtroopers. There are one guy, he's got a huge Stormtrooper collection, and it blows my mind. I think it's funny whenever Hot Toys or somebody will announce a figure. And there for a while, there were Iron Man figures coming out all the time. There really hasn't been that many Iron Man figures in the last couple of years. Like the last one, it looked like they were going to announce was going to be the Jack, and then they didn't, because it was shown as a back figure, showcasing the front figure. So they were showing off whatever it was. And I don't remember what figure it was. Like maybe the shotgun or something. I don't know. And the background was the Mark 28 Jack. And normally, whenever they do that, that's the next one that pops up. And that was like over 2 years ago. And there hasn't been a Hall of Armor figure since then. But that's also when they started going full on to the replacement of the first 7 in diecast. And most of the Hall of Armor suits contain Mark 7 pieces in them. And they've been adjusting the sizes on the original 7 to be supposedly more screen accurate. So I'm wondering if the reason they didn't release any more Iron Legion figure or Hall of Armor figures is because they were waiting on the diecast release of the Mark 7 to be able to manufacture correct sized those other 8 through 41, or actually, so it'd be 36, because 38 is Igor, 39 is Hammerhead, 40 is Shotgun, and there's no Mark 7 pieces in that I can remember, and 41 is Bones. So it'd be through 36, so 8 through 36, those pieces, except for the pieces that don't have any in there. And I think that's what's going on. But what I find funny was back when they were releasing these figures, maybe once every month or so, the collectors who didn't collect Iron Man would complain, "Oh, why are you making only Iron Man? Why are you making only Iron Man? Why aren't you making a Stormtrooper?" And I'm like, or they're like, "Oh yeah, great. What do we need? Another Iron Man? What is it? 100 of them?" And then I go and count the Stormtroopers, and there's like 100 different Stormtroopers or 100 different Batman figures, and I'm like, "Come on." don't be crying and angry that Hot Toys is releasing an Iron Man and not your Batman because you've got 112 different Batman figures already. I mean, the argument is it's Iron Man, just one figure. Why do you need all the others? Then why do you need all the other Batman? Why do you need all the other Stormtroopers? Because that's how we are. I've got, of my Star Wars collection, I have two R2D2s from Sideshow. I've got a Hot Toys R2D2, and then I've got the R2Q5 and the unpainted prototype R2, and then the R2 CB2, whatever it is, and the R5D4, and it's all the same astromech, but it doesn't matter. They're different in some little capacity, so I buy them. I've got two BB-8s and the BB-9, both ones that Hot Toys released, the BB-8s and the BB-9, and that's how that works, right? I think some of y'all are with me. Let's go ahead. Maybe Star Wars. 1/6 figures of Vinny D's Kingpin. Who did it? Yeah, I'm with you. Who did do that? Toys R Us, you got me? VDS? Hey Siri, are you getting those GameStop Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I am not. Um, and of course, I grew up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I used to play um, board table games like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and other strange things. I think is what the game actually started off at, and I played that game. So before there was even the cartoon, it was a game that we played when I got together at the game stores and gamed with other guys and gals doing role playing games. And so I am a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, and the movies have been corny. But that another one is a whole nother gambit of collecting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It would exhaust me. I know I'm passing on that, and not for any reason other than just the fact that enough is enough, if that makes any sense. And please tell me this is in focus because on my screen it's not in focus, and I would hate that this entire time we've been watching an unfocused video. Close look at the head. Is it zooming in for you? Is that good there? Let me know. Kingpin is made by Toyworks, TWS 003F Gangsterdom Boss. Is it Ving Rhames Kingpin? Which Kingpin is it? From what television show or movie? Siri, do I think Hot Toys will release different versions of the in-game figures, like DX versions, because of all the Quantum Realm suits everybody will be wearing? What I've started noticing lately is they aren't necessarily releasing different figures, but they're making more and more accessories available. So, like the Spider-Man Homecoming. When you bought the deluxe version of that, it came with head sculpts and suits and shirts and other things that you could display him in. So it's almost to the point where they're making just one figure with all the other stuff, and that way you can display the figure how you want in the time frame. And that might be the same thing with the multiple firearms here that Cable is coming with. Maybe throughout the movie he changes over from, and I don't know. I think this is a Beretta, and I think this is a Colt 1911. I don't know. I'm sorry to say I don't know my firearms. Or this may be a Desert Eagle. I don't know. But maybe throughout the movie he's changed weapons, and then that gives you the opportunity to display him as you wish, just like you have the Charred and the Perfect teddy bear, depending on what storyline, where in the storyline you want to display him. And here's the more or less sawed-off shotgun right here. So that is what's going on with that. It looks like now whenever they're releasing a figure, they're releasing it with a lot more accessories. So you can choose how you want to display him. So along that line also, you start looking at it and you're like, oh yeah, I want to display that Iron Spider with the appendages coming out of his back. And I want to display the Iron Spider without those appendages on the back because I want to display him in a case. So that's two Iron Spiders that you would end up buying. One in the case from the ending of Spider-Man Homecoming, and then, of course, from Infinity War. Because remember, there was only 3 people on that ship. Doctor Strange and Tony. And then the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thanos. And those are the only ones that seen the Iron Spider. none of the other Avengers seen the Iron Spider. Kind of like how someone said Tony never got to see Steve with a beard, you know? So there are things that happen that are outside the realm of the rest of the fake characters. So, you know, you end up buying the same figure, the Iron Spider, twice to be able to display him in two different ways. So that's my opinion on that. At Collection Obsession, thank you. Igor looks gorgeous. I love my Igor. Isn't he great? I talk about him a lot. What I like about my Igor is he evokes in me the parental nature. He looks like a little kid. You know, that's something that they've proven in nature and in wildlife, that there's this maternal or parental nature that comes about with little things, humans or animals or anything that is of your species, that is of that size, or not even sometimes of your species, that the parental figure will be drawn to or attracted to. And that he looks like a little kid. I just want to hug him and take care of him and go put him in his crib to put him to sleep, because the size that he is just really does that. And I think that's what appeals to a lot of people, is because it hits that subconscious level of you, because of his scale and his proportions. He really does that. Now, in the design of him, all of the battery compartments are larger than they need to be. So I'm under the impression what had happened as Hot Toys was 3D designing the figure, you know, like through 3ds Max or Maya or whatever it is that they're using when they're designing these figures. So they have like a basic platform, blah, which already starts off with what they've done. And so then they just customize that to whichever figure that they're using. So what it appears to me is, I'm looking at this guy and I've opened him up to put his batteries into him, and the compartments are just like that big. They're huge. Is that they designed him and he ended up being, you know, this size originally. And then, you know, they didn't craft him, and they're like, okay, yeah, he's that size, that scale, but he's really, you know, 16 inches tall or 18 inches tall. I think it's 16 inches tall. So they just, you know, grabbed the corner of it and said, and stretched it up. And that's why he is that way. I think, in my opinion, and I wasn't involved in any of the design process or the manufacture process of any of that, is that they just took a regular Hot Toys figure, an Iron Man figure, just stretched it and literally just sent it off to be manufactured. And nobody corrected any of that. And so that's why the compartments are so big. But that's my opinion on how he is, because he really has all of the pieces that any of the other Hot Toys Iron Man pieces have. I am, as long as I got the money to get them, you better believe it. I've got my, I'm still waiting on it. I haven't been told that it's available yet, and Killmonger 2 should be coming. So my Infinity Wars right now is Captain America, Black Widow, Iron Spider, and T'Chaka, Thor. I think those are my only Infinity War figures. I think those are the only ones that have been released so far, right? I don't think they're doing any more. All I see is his hair mostly. Is he in focus? Let me get him lifted up here. That help? The Kingpin is from Netflix Daredevil. You know what? I really wish that I had jumped on that series earlier. I missed the Punisher. So much want the Hot Toys Punisher, and I would like to buy two of them actually, or at least a second head sculpt, because the War Machine Punisher, in my opinion, Netflix Punisher is the Punisher. And I know that this War Machine Punisher is like from a video game or something, but I don't know anything about that video game. I've never even seen that video game. I'm getting the figure because it's badass. It's Punisher. It's War Machine. It's Hot Toys. It's diecast. It's an Iron Man suit for many reasons. And I was going to pass on it originally, and I talked myself into it. But I think if I were to display it with a head sculpt, it would definitely have to be the Netflix Punisher. And I'm sorry I don't know his name. And I forget who you said made that Kingpin. Nah, there you go. The gangster dumb boss is Vincent D'Onofrio. There you go. And so it's Gangster Dumb Boss. That's what you buy. Thank you very much. The canceled Daredevil, gotta say, Doom Patrol looked good. I thought also Doom Patrol did look good. Um, and that's a DC movie or extended universe. And Aquaman was really good. Really blown away by Aquaman. Really enjoyed that. I think they did a really good job, and I love the reveal or the moment that he comes in wearing his yellow or gold top and the green. Oh man, right on, right on. And some people have said that that's kind of like the correcting or the rebooting of the DC universe. So I hope so because I was really impressed with Aquaman. Really impressed with it, and I hope they continue along that same line in making manufacturing of their movies and the way that they get put out instead of the junk that they were making earlier. The Toyworks Kingpin figure comes with two different suit jackets, so you can display him as seen in Netflix show or classic comic book look. So, of course, in the classic comic books, as we know, Kingpin he has a white jacket, and I don't remember what he's wearing in Netflix, but that's cool. And obviously, Kingpin's a major player versus Daredevil and Spider-Man. And Spider-Man and Daredevil have a lot of crossings, and because they're both in the New York area, Daredevil's really Hell's Kitchen, and Spider-Man's really well, he's pretty much anywhere, but he was mostly like the boroughs. And but they would cross paths because Kingpin was always there. And, they always would describe the Kingpin as the appearance of somebody who's just obese and fat. And then you find out that ain't fat. That dude's pure muscle and he will kick your tail. I really enjoyed how they did Kingpin and the whole storyline of Spider-Verse. If you haven't seen the Spider-Verse, I highly recommend it. I don't know if it's in theaters anymore, so I imagine it's going to be on Netflix or whatever soon. But that's definitely a buy movie for me. No doubt about it. What else does Toyworks do? I don't know. You look sweet, Cable. Good. Oh, yeah, so here, let's see if we can't do this. It looks like it's too bright. Is he too bright? See if that makes any difference. Did that make it any different? That help any? Do you know if Hot Toys is redoing Mark One in diecast? Would you get it? The answer is Hot Toys said that they would be doing the original seven. They've done six of them, so I'm assuming that they will do the Mark One. And yes, I would get it. So I have my Mark One now, just in the Hall of Armor, and it's the version 2.0. So they made two of them, and I don't know exactly what the original one looked like, but I understand that there's huge improvements on the 2.0, and I love it. And it's really neat figure. And I there was I think it was Toys. I think it was I forget who it was. They made a cave. They made actually two versions of the cave. They made it the inside cave where Tony Stark is crafting the Iron Man 1 suit, and then they made an outside cave. And I thought about buying that outside cave so I could display him outside the cave as well. And it would be a neat little diorama. But I did not buy any of those. But so definitely, yeah, I would get the diecast Mark One. And it's funny, I don't have an additional Mark Three. I've got so many Mark Threes. I've got a red and gold Mark Three. I've got the blue stealth Mark Three, and I've got the what was he called? Was he the Secret Project or Gunmetal? I forget which one he is. I have all these Mark IIIs, but my Mark III in the Hall of Armor is vacant because I've got Mark III fighting Ironmonger in my other office in there. So it's almost like continually buying the exact same piece over and over and over again. Let me get him up here a little more. How's that? Can you see his head now? Because that's what sells this figure. I mean, all the other neat stuff is neat, but in my opinion, that's Cable, no doubt about it. If you can't see that, then, you know, that's really what you want to see. I know it's what you want to see. How's that? Is that higher? Is that good? Is that better? Always like the Revenger Punisher by VTS from the movie. You mean like the Dolph, was it Dolph Lundgren? Was that his name? Who did that Punisher? You talking about that Punisher? When a closer look at the head, not so much body. So is he too tall? Is he too tall now, Robert? Do I need to go the other direction? Oh, that's better? All right, thanks, Tom. Thomas. Thomas Ferry. Could put close camera. I got the camera like right against the table here on the tripod, so I really can't move it, but I can move him closer to the camera. But what I'm afraid of is I'm gonna get to a point where he's gonna be out of focus because the camera has a minimum focusing distance, and I don't know what it is. And I have a tape measure, so I can figure that out. Whatever it is, let's say if it's 18 inches or 16 inches, there's gonna be a point where it's not gonna focus in anymore because we're gonna be too close, and I don't know what it is. That right there is 10 inches. It's a Samsung Galaxy S5. If you guys want to check that for me and tell me what the minimum focusing distance range is on that, that would be beautiful. Oh yeah, I got my Mark One displayed in the inside cave. Yeah, that cave looked amazing. How'd you think of it? All the tool accessories. Yeah, that looked cool. With the cave diorama, looks very cool. Yeah, the images on that looked amazing, and I really struggled with that. I really wanted to get it, and I ended up passing on it. And I've always said to myself, well, I'll just get it later if I really want it. But the odds of that happening are very slim. I can't imagine someone ever getting rid of that. If not, no biggie. What's that? Do you want it closer still, Robert? I see, no biggie. Wanted closer look at the head, but still great figure. Is it any closer for you, Robert? Are you on the live time frame? Because I'm not. I don't know how far back my video is. I'm sitting here pointing to Igor, and the whole video looks like it's out of focus. And I pray that it's not. I pray it's not out of focus. I can't stand that when that happens. I mean, that ruins the entire video if it's out of focus. I mean, what are you looking at? It's like the lights are still too much. How's that? Cable top half head is cut off. This will start. I don't feel so good. Yeah, jeez. Looks sharp to me. Thanks, Thomas. Thank you very much. It's good though. I understand the focus. Oh man, you guys need to let me know. You guys need to let me know if it's out of focus so I can muck with it. Because I'd hate to make an hour, 2 hour video or whatever, however long they end up being, and the entire thing's out of focus. I mean, give me a freaking break. You know what I mean? Perfect. So good. So you can see them. Good, good. Oh, I see. Yeah, top of the head. Is top of the head still cut off? Because I've caught up, I think, to maybe a minute or two behind. I think it's probably the top of the head's probably put in. Yeah, lights. Yeah, and I think the lights are good, right? Got the lights good? Perfect. Thank you, Robert. Thank you very much. Turn down the lights. You still need me to turn them down more? Is that helping? Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm glad that I got this. And if you are the Cable from the Deadpool fan, I don't believe you're going to be disappointed at all. Um, he's not exactly the same Cable in regards to the comics, and that's cool. I'm gonna turn him sideways here for you guys. Now that we have a good angle here, see if I can't get him about the same area there. But they did an amazing job on this. I'm really pleased with this figure. I mean, really pleased with him. I see Josh Brolin. I see Cable. There's no question about it. Looking at these shoes with the light now, I can see that the shoes are brown and black. I thought originally they were all black, but they're actually brown and black. Did a good job with the paint app on that. Really impressed. I think that's about where I had him at, right? Is that good? Makes me want to get Tom Hardy Venom. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I ordered the poison from Too Cool, and I'm looking at the Tom Hardy Venom, and I've thought about getting that, and I probably will also. I probably will also get that figure. Toys R Us is right on target, man. They are doing it right, and they're going to give. They keep it up. They're going to give Hot Toys a run for their money. That's no joke, and I think that's awesome. Um, and I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why certain figures will not be or are not made by Hot Toys. It's always a bad sign when they give you the accessories to a figure. For instance, I've got Crossbones ordered from AI Dollar from 1/6 Kit, and because all we got from Hot Toys was the helmet, so we don't get Crossbones, or like Mantis. I mean, 2 movies in Infinity War. Was she in the first movie? No. So, but 2 movies she's in, and no Hot Toys figure. So I ordered the Mantis again from 1/6 Kit, and the there's all these figures that for whatever reason aren't being made by Hot Toys, and Hot Toys may even tease the figure. I'm pretty sure they showed us a Crossbones, and I don't know what the deal is. I really don't. Iron Man suit gantry figure. Would you get it? I own the gantries, and I bought the second one, so I own the original one that they made. I don't know, 5, 6, or 7 years ago, and I love it. And then I also bought the re-release version, which the gantry is just a little bit different. The paint app on it is one of them, and I don't remember which. One is like perfectly clean, another one is like used, and I think it's the new one that came out perfectly clean. And one of the original one, you can flip over the plates on the actual moving gantry pieces, so you have either the black and white grid from his garage, or you had the white from the Stark Expo. On the new one, you only have it in one way. So I have one set up as the Stark Expo with a Mark IV in it, and then I have another one set up. I put my Mark II Armor Unleashed in it, and in the gantry, because that gantry was used for the Mark II, the gantry was used for the Mark III, and the Mark IV. The Mark V he was able to put on himself from his little suitcase. The Mark VI he used a different gantry on, and what I did is I bought the King Arts 1/9 size gantry. There is a company that made a 1/6 scale gantry, but from my studies of the movies, looking at the size of the landing spot when Tony comes in Avengers and lands on his area that begins the gantry, and then it rotates up, and then it spreads out and engulfs him. It really is the size of that 1/9 King Arts. In my opinion, the 1/9 King Arts gantry truthfully is a 1/6 scale gantry, because of the size of the area that he lands that becomes the area that surrounds him and opens up. So I have that gantry that I'm using that I bought from Big Bad Toy Store from King Arts, the 1/9 scale. I think that's dead on. Toys R Us does have good prices. They're about $100 less, it seems, than the Hot Toys. See you next week, Siri. Sorry I have to go. Yay, Rick. Thank you very much for coming in and spending some time with me. Yeah, exactly. And great close up on Cable. Looks sweet. I ought to measure this distance so that I know from now on, right, guys? What do we got here? Looks to be 8 inches. So 8 inches. You guys are gonna have to remind me. 8 inches is the distance that we need. Great close up. Where you end up putting Iron Spider? Oh yeah, gosh, I'm sorry, Robert. You already asked that. I got him over here. For right now, what I have is my Infinity War collection. So let's get Cable out of the way for right now. And by the way, this was called the Toys R Us the Mechanical. When they make these, because they're not officially licensed, they really can't call it what it is. So it's Lady Katana, the Steel, the Mechanical, the Poison. But you know, when you look at it, you know what it is. So this is what I did with my Iron Spider. And I thought about getting a second one so I can display them without the appendages. But I mean, like I said, there was only Tony and Doctor Strange and the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thanos that seen them without it, seen them at all. So it really doesn't matter. So I figured I'd just do that. But I have them on my shelf with the other three. Well, I have Thor up here with the Avengers. And I've got Thor Ragnarok, which I'm going to pose against the Hulk. I haven't put him into it yet, but he's going to be fighting Hulk. I put him in this taller posing stand here and have him clipped around his hips to be able to put him into a launching size style pose. And I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me turn this light on. Does that help? Is that too much light? Do you want me to spin the other ones around? Let me know. But I've got my Infinity War Thor up here in between Black Panther and War Machine from Civil War. And then down here I have T'Chaka, Iron Spider, Black Widow from Infinity War, and Captain America from Infinity War. But yeah, I'm going to have a whole other shelf for Infinity War. I've got my Guardians of the Galaxy 2 down here with Groot and Baby Groot and Rocket. And there's several Baby Groots floating around, and Star-Lord and Yondu with the taller arrow controlling device. And then I have my other Guardians of the Galaxy from the first movie up here with Groot and Rocket, old Groot, and Gamora and Yondu. And I also have Yondu holding a Baby Groot, even though he doesn't fit. But I got him holding the little bird cage that Baby Groot came with. And I really would like to get the Drax figures. I'm sorry that I missed those. And I would really like to chase those down because I need Drax. And I think I've got Gamora coming. She's on pre-order for the Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Still say he looks great in Tony's Hall of Armor. I agree with you, Robert. And I've battled with that. You know, money is obviously always the object. But I would, for fact, and I would 100% agree with any collector that did that, put this in a Hall of Armor. It would work, whether it be the version 1 Hall of Armor from Hot Toys, or like a Toys Box version 3 like these, or any of them. It would work. It looks just like the Homecoming presentation of him. I mean, could you imagine even having like the backgrounds of all the little schematics that are standing around it, and then you'd be able to put you a Tony in his black suit and Tom Holland in his regular clothes. And I think I saw somebody was making a Happy. Oh, man, we really need a Happy. We need a Happy. We need to be happy. Yeah, thank you on the pose. I actually, he actually will stand up even without the bracket if you put down the other legs. But I've got the legs right there on there, like as if they're holding him up. And I tried to duplicate, for the most part, the comic pose of him. If you notice, he's not looking at you. He's looking, you know, kind of over there, contemplative, and also kind of focused in that direction. But this is the Iron Spider pose, and I pre-ordered the other Iron Spider from what's the name of that company that made the red and gold one? I pre-ordered that, and I know the reviews. We talked about whether I watched the other reviewers. I did on that, um, and there seems to be mixed feelings on it. But I'm going to get it because it's a necessary piece. It's a re-edit Sentinel, Iron Spider, or Scarlet Spider, or I forget what they call it. But the Big Bad Toy Store sells it. It's $300, and it's die cast. So I'm getting that as well when that comes out for us here. You're welcome, Thomas. Siri, you're getting the Toys R Us Steel. Yes, I am. I sure am. I have pre-ordered the Steel 2.0, and his arms are longer. They fixed that in Deadpool 2. In the original Deadpool, because of the way that they created Colossus, they mucked up the length of his arms. His arms should have been longer. His arms aren't to scale. He's a CGI character based off of human actors that positioned themselves where they needed to be in order to portray that character. And when they CGI'd Colossus in the first movie, they didn't stretch his arms out. They ended up using the actor's arms because he was doing things. He was grabbing stuff, so his arms had to be a certain length, and they didn't fix that. In Deadpool 2, they did. And so speaking of the Toys R Us Steel 2.0, the arms are the proper length also. Thank you that the light is good. And hopefully, because now I'm starting to catch up here. I got Iron Spider in front of me, and I'm pointing to Infinity War figures. Can you see the bottom here? Do I need to push that down some more? How about Hot Toys Mark 7 diecast Iron Man? Did you pre-order? I pre-ordered 2 of them. And the reason I did is because it appears that in order to be able to make the suitcase or the flying pod, it's not really a suitcase, but the flying pod that goes to him, it requires pieces from the Mark 7 diecast, so you won't be able to create an entire piece without it. So, needless to say, I'm going to have a Mark 7, and I have to have the pod. And I have a Mark 7. I have a Mark 7 up in my Hall of Armor. I have 2 of the stealths, one with extra pieces that I bought, made by, I don't remember, Very Cool or something, where they have like the transparent arm and a transparent chest piece and a transparent hand. And so I have those on. So I got a stealth, then I got the stealth with all those, and then I have, I forget what it's called, the Arctic or the Sub-Zero. I forget what it is. So I got the black one, the white one, and I have a Mark 7. Yeah, I definitely need, and of course, the Mark 21 truthfully is a Mark 7, identical, but it's not a repaint. It's truthfully a screen scene armor. So it is canon or accurate, and maybe that will show at the bottom here. And so I ordered 2 of them for that reason. So that will give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Mark 7s. It's like either the Mark 6 or the Mark 4. I've got like 6 of those also. And I end up posing them in all of their capacities. So, like I have a Mark 4 fighting, or no, wait, a Mark 6 fighting Whiplash 2. I have a Mark 6 walking down the King Arts gantry. I have a Mark 6, obviously, in the Hall of Armor. I have a Mark 6 up here that'll be fighting against Loki. I have Loki in. I built a Loki in a suit with the scarf and the staff when he went to the museum. And even though that's not how he fought the Mark 6 suit, that's how I'm going to have him displayed. So I have multiple Mark 6s. I have multiple Mark 5s. I got the diecast Mark 5, and I have 2 of the original Mark 5s. One of them is posed fighting up against the original Whiplash. And so I have ended up getting multiple figures for that reason, and I utilize them in posing. I have a Mark 4 that I have him holding the donut and the coffee, so with his little thing. And then, of course, I have this, I don't remember, one's a secret project, or one's called the gunmetal or something like that. I've got the Mark 3 and the Mark 4 on that. I got the Mark 4 diecast and neon up here, the Tron version Mark 4, and then I have a Mark 4 in the Hall of Armor, and I have a Mark 4 on the gantry in the other room. So you end up getting all these multiple figures just to be able to pose them in the stories. I am waiting on the Mark One for fact. I'm happy with my Mark One without diecast being the first armor. Anyways, was your Mark One the original Mark One, or is it the 2.0, Robert? Uh, I saw Happy going for $100 on Monsters in Motion website a while ago. I saw a Happy that somebody was making, and it didn't really look like him, and so I did not get that. And that might be petty, but it's not. And to me, it's important that he really resembles the figure, and that's kind of what bothers me about my Veronica, my Daphne and Velma from Scooby Doo. The outfits look like them, but that's about it. So I ended up not having much love for those two figures that I created, buying the suits and then buying Fison figures to piece them all together. And that's the deal with kit bashing. So, I actually took, for instance, there's a Fison uh, Lady Sparta warrior that they made, which I love the figure. And then, of course, I bought the 300, not the Hot Toys version, but there's another version of the 300 Sparta warrior that was made, and I forget who made it. And so I wanted to change the head sculpt on that, so I changed out the head sculpt on the Lady Sparta warrior because I wanted to make her what it was. So I kit bashed her, and that was a great figure and an expensive figure. And you always have to remember that because whenever you kit bash them, I mean, sometimes there's no going back. Like Sam Kwok, I think that's how you say his name, he lives there in Hong Kong. He makes some amazing kit bash pieces, and he's literally kit bashed the Hulkbuster 2, and it's, literally burning them and chopping, grinding them up, and here you are, you just spent several $100s on a figure, and next thing you know, you're cutting it all up to make it more screen accurate. That's awesome. That's awesome. It really makes it into art. I'm torn about getting the knockoff Happy figure because it says, yep, that's where I was thinking. The head sculpt wasn't there. Does the current plastic Mark 7 have pink panty problems? I don't believe so. No, my Mark 7 does not have the pink panties. I think they changed the way they were doing them at that point. All of my others ended up getting it, but I believe that either it hasn't happened yet or the paint application process that they were doing has changed with the this Mark 7. So let's see. Let's get this. There we go. No, I don't think it's pink panties. It looks to be the proper color to me on the Mark 7. So if you can get a hold of one of these guys, snatch them up. I've done a couple of reviews on them, and I really, really dig them. And there's a lot of neat little things about them. These little things pop out on his little legs here, and these are interchangeable because you can display them in the different forms of how you want to display them. Different pieces come off so you can display him differently, different arms. And so if you can get a hold of one of these, I recommend it. It's an awesome figure no matter. And the die cast is even going to be even more awesome, I expect. So, no, there's no pink panties on him. He's good to go. Good to go. Nice figure. It's held up. He has held up well. No complaints on my Mark 7 diecast from Hot Toys. And I don't remember which one this was. This was the one that came with all of the accessories because they made a couple of them. Collection obsession. Exactly what I was thinking. The head is not yet. No, I didn't agree. I didn't think the head was. It didn't look like Happy. I would hope that they will. I hope that Hot Toys makes one. I also would be all over Hot Toys Happy. And I got to tell you, I don't care which version he is, because as time goes on, our bodies change, and sometimes not always for the better. And he's gained some weight. So in his last couple of ones, he's heavier than he was in the original ones. Then he had the goatee. Remember, Tony Stark was giving him a hard time by having to wear the goatee. I don't even care. I don't care if he's Iron Man 1 happy or if he's the Infinity War happy. Doesn't matter. You just have to have him. He's an integral part in the entire story process. You know, he's a requirement. He really is. I'd like a Howard Stark, and I don't care which one it is either. I don't care if it's the older Howard Stark or the younger 1940s Howard Stark. Don't care. But I want a Howard Stark too. I want to get all those. You need a lot of those supporting characters, and thank goodness we do have these third-party manufacturers that do this because they will jump on one if they have the opportunity to, like the Mantis. I can't wait to get that Mantis figure. You could keep as stand-in until something better comes along. And that's possibly very much so the case. At least then you get the outfit, right? The suit that he wore, the Men in Black suit. Mine is the used 2.0. There you go. That's what I got. Mine's a 2.0, and I love it. He's talking about the War Machine Mark One, and they made the 2.0, and that's the version that I bought because I wasn't buying them when the original version came out, so I was able to get the 2.0, and it is an amazing figure, really detailed, and you really get the feeling that you're holding a suit from the cave. I mean, you really get that impression that this is the original Iron Man suit, and it's so funny because when you're watching the movie with the little holographic display that comes over him on the Hall of Armor that he has them displayed, I think it even says reconstructed or something to that effect as the description of the Mark One. That it's not actually the all the pieces from the Mark One. So Tony, it's so funny that Tony maintains these suits that he doesn't wear. And he's got his own little museum going on, reminding him, I guess, of where he came from. Because he doesn't like here he is on the Mark 42, and I have a hard time believing that he would be donning like the Mark 5. For whatever reason, would he go over there and decide he's going to put the Mark 5 on? Now, once the Mark 42 became operational, but he still had all the suits, or the Mark 3, or the Mark 2. Why would he even put them on, or even the Mark 1? So I think Tony is an egotistical genius, and anything he can do to inflate his own ego to himself, because I think that's why he has those. But I think it says it's something like reconstructed or something to let you know that it's not actually all the pieces from the original armor, even in his own Hall of Armor. I got Kit Bash, Killian. Is that what you're saying? Cillian Murphy for Jonathan Crane. I'm not sure what that is. I say he looks 80% like him, head but small though. Hot Toys made a Coulson. Why not a Happy? Yeah, I love my Phil Coulson. And Maria Hill. I've got a Maria Hill. And we need a Happy. No doubt about it. I would like to get a Nick Fury from was it the Avengers that they made a Nick Fury? Because I have the Civil War Nick Fury. I don't have the original Nick Fury, so I got the Nick Fury that came with the broken shoulder, the brace for his arm. How much War Machine Mark One diecast cost nowadays? War Machine Mark One diecast? I don't even know. I don't even know. That's a beautiful armor. That is a beautiful armor. And I don't know what it's selling for. I think it cost at least $350 when it came out. It may have been $400. And I wouldn't part for mine. No way. And they made a lot of the plastic ones, and there's people who won't even release those. And so I can't compare the plastic to the diecast myself specifically because I've never held a plastic War Machine Mark One, but I understand that those are even awesome. So that's that's the big question. But no, check eBay or Facebook groups. Put out there in a group that you're looking for a War Machine Mark One diecast. See if you can find someone that's willing to sell it. It happens. I mean, I've had to get rid of. I was only able to sell one figure. I couldn't. I need to sell some figures, and I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't get rid of my figures, man. I keep buying them. No more no hands. I got to go. See you next time. Yes, Thomas, thank you very much for stopping in, and thank you for that. I need to start doing review videos again. I tell myself that I'm going to, and I've got the setup, dude. It's not like as if I have to do anything to make the reviews. It's the actual doing of the review is easy. Film it, blah blah blah, move the arms, stretch him out, see how far he goes, talk about the quality of him. Here's his head, turn the lights on, yada yada yada. Well, that's easy. What I do is I also research the figure, and that's why I keep apologizing for Cable because I didn't research him, and I'm sorry that I didn't do that. But I will research the figure and compare him to the movie in many and every aspect, and include movie clips to back up what it is that I'm stating about the figure. And that and the editing is what takes so long. The Captain Marvel um, video that I made just talking about the pre-order ability of the figure. I've been working on that for weeks. And I literally sat down, and I don't go off a script. I try to tell myself to write a script. I've written a script a couple of times. I end up going off script. So I don't bother with the script. I just go off what's coming to my head as I'm talking about the figure as it's coming out. And the recording lasts, let's just say it takes me an hour to talk about Captain Marvel coming out, the figure. Literally, I kid you not. I probably have an hour of footage of me just talking about the Captain Marvel figure. So then I go back and I start editing it out, taking out all the worthless stuff that I've rambled on or ranted on, or got way off a subject, or I stuttered through it, and I remove all the stutters and the slurred words and the ums and all those. They get taken out, and that is what happens in order to truncate it down to a video that you want to watch. And that's what I struggle with, because I really enjoy sharing this with you guys. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I love doing it. And I just wish that I was as dedicated as Sardimus is to his videos, and I imagine I will get there. He's been doing them for what, 8 or 9 years, and he is a monster, man. Like I said, the few times I've been to his house and watched him work, dude, there's no joke. That dude's on it. He is very passionate about his figures, and he's passionate about life, and passionate about his wife and his kids, his child and his unborn child, and when he does his videos, all that passion goes into there too. So I love you, Sardimus, man, and keep it up. And I love you, Sean. Things are getting better for you. I'll probably see Sean tomorrow at Toy Fusion. I'm thinking about going there and dropping some of these. I have these 1995 Toy Biz Spider-Man animated series figures that I can't get rid of, and I'd be happy to sell those. So if you guys are looking for any of those Toy Biz animated Spider-Man collection figures, I'll be happy to get rid of those. I'm thinking about taking them tomorrow to Toys Fusion to sell them in their toy sale. But also hit me up if you guys want them. I think Tony will be like us collectors. Yeah. Well, he had all his suits blow up. And gosh darn it, I love Pepper Potts. And she's the anti-Tony. She's what levels him out, which is so funny. Because Tony is so off the scale. Before he settled down, being the playboy that he was and all that. I mean, he's on the man scale, here's like a man who isn't quite yet a man, and then here's man on the center of the scale, and here's like the man that some of us say, man, I would love to be. Tony's like off that chart. He's like way off over here. So Pepper Potts really balances him and brings him back down to a reality. The only thing that I don't care for in their relationship is her pushing him to not be the Iron Man, to do away with the suits, to not do it. And what bothers me on that is there are people in relationships in real life that go through the exact same thing. They'll meet somebody who happens to be serving their country in the military for whatever reason, and they could have been in there for many years, but they themselves don't want that person in the military. So they met them, they've accepted them, they've fallen in love with them, and all of these criteria are that this is who they are. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden they want to change them from being who they are into being somebody else. So even in Infinity War, we see her telling him to do away with the Iron Man. That he doesn't need it. He's like, no, it's for protection because he's still paranoid. Remember when in Avengers when he went up there and Thanos had been in his head for all those years, you know, he recognized that name when he was told to, and that's why he made all those suits that we see in all of armor, all the way to 42 suits. You know, because he was paranoid in that regards. He'd been touched, and it made him want to make sure that he's able to take care of him and his family and his loved ones in any circumstance. That's why all of the different suits are so many different ways. And it bothers me that she's constantly trying to tell him to get rid of who he is. You know, he was before, but he had a rebirth when he kissed death, more or less, in Iron Man. When he came back from the dead, for the most part, his rebirth is Iron Man. And, you know, the story of his father, Howard Stark, when the government seized more or less the assets in the company, the Stark Industries that he was making for their purposes. You know, they had all of his property taken. So I like that in Iron Man 2 when he's there at the Senate meeting and they're like, you need to give us the Iron Man suit. And he's like, no, you ain't getting none of it. I am Iron Man. And, I've privatized whatever he said, defending the earth or something to that effect. And I think that had a lot to do with what had happened with his father of losing everything to the government. So, you know, that was his answer. Like, no, you're not getting you can't have my things. I am Iron Man, and you can't get me, and you can't have my things. And so that's I think came from some of that. So there's a lot of story that, if you know the backstory to it, it makes the story even greater because there's more than, you know, a statement that they make is really more than just a statement that they made because it happens to be something that really is rooted in there. I think they did an amazing job in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Kevin Feige, I think, is the one that's in charge of all of it, the godfather of it all. And the different directors have been able to make the movies as such, but they all truthfully tie in, which makes it such an amazing, amazing, amazing story. And all the backstory that's not even told that we know about all of these things, you know, like the Claw, where we are, they piece together how he became part of knowing where Wakanda is and all of that. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing how they've done that. 8 inches is a good length. I think you're right. See you next Saturday. Thank you, El Pachan. Thank you very much for stopping in. Thank you very much. All that work, that's what makes your videos great. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much. I wonder if the gauntlet told Thanos who Stark was. He said, cursed with knowledge. Yeah, that's the question. What did he see? Because he flew through the, I don't know what you'd call it, the portal through space time and was right outside the ship that I'm assuming Thanos was on that ship. And he didn't have the gauntlet at that time, I don't believe, but, or maybe he did, because I know when they were showing him putting his hand into it in Odin's vault. They showed Hela walking through there on Thor Ragnarok, and she's like, fake, you know? So I don't know whether or not he had the Infinity Gauntlet at that time when he flew through there. It's a good question. Maybe saw a vision. Yeah, he definitely heard the name. Remember, he said that Thanos had been in his head since 2000. When was Avengers? 2011, 2012 was Avengers 2012. So 7 years he'd been in his head. 6 years. Hot Toys did one Kevin Feige. Yeah, they did. Oh my goodness! And they presented it to him, didn't they? And he was. Yes, I've seen that. I can imagine they will release this figure someday to the public as well. I would eat that up. You know, my Stan Lee. I love my Stan Lee. I've got him down here with. He's kind of like. He's standing next to my Netflix Daredevil, which I love, and my Nier Automata that I pieced together. Bought the very cool toys outfit and put it on a Feisten figure, and right next to my Mandarin. What a disappointment! And where's Killian Aldrich? Come on. I really hated how they did Ben Kingsley. They really should have made him the Mandarin. I mean, full on the Mandarin. And they made that Hail to the King, I think is what it was, a little Marvel mini movie where he was in jail, and we also seen Hammer in jail there too, whatever his name was. And they left that story open and available to be continued on. But the Mandarin and the Ten Rings is such a story in the Iron Man comics that I just feel that they did it wrong. And I guess for whatever reason they decided to abandon that as they were going. Like Roxxon Oil Company, I mean, there's so many tie-ins, so many little Easter eggs and things that are going here and there and whatever else. And it's just, again, the huge picture is so huge. And they've done such a great job. And the Iron Man, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is Earth 199999. So it's perfectly okay to collect this Earth and to collect the Deadpool Earth, which is TRN 415 or something to that effect, and to have a Sideshow Earth, and to have the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, because I'm mainly Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I have, like the Vampirellas and the Lady Deaths, and that Lady Death is different than Lady Death from Marvel. So I've got a video that I started making on comparing or discussing all of the Spider-Men, that's not necessarily true because Spider-Gwen was there, and the Spider-Ham, when Peter Porker was there, but the Spider-Verse characters, and which Earth they actually belong into. So I'm working on that, trying to piece that together. And so for clarification purposes, that Miles Morales that we see in the Spider-Verse isn't the Miles Morales that you know, or the Miguel O'Hara from Earth Spider-Man 2099 isn't the Miguel O'Hara that we know and love from the comics. So they even created new versions of them. So in the Marvel Earths, in the Marvel universes, there's actually 3 Miles Moraleses that we know about as Spider-Man. And there's actually 2 Earth 2099 Miguel O'Haras. So, the Spider-Verse movie created or referenced a different Earth than these characters came from in the comics. And I think that's great. So, if you haven't seen Spider-Verse, I've talked about it a couple times already. Amazing movie. Worldbox had a male body with a Killian head sculpt long ago, so rare now, and I think I seen that. But I don't think it had, the tattoos and all that. Did it come with all that? Because I think I seen somebody that made that. But no, I don't think anybody's actually manufactured that figure specifically. I gotta run. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you guys and gals, for stopping in. And I love every one of you. And I really dedicate myself to being here for you, everybody, at this time regularly, because I want to be able to interact with you, and I want you guys to feel that you can interact with me. And I want to show you what's going on. And I'll probably make a little collection video. I need to make a collection video. I'm pretty pleased with how my collection is displayed right now, except for my Thor's Ragnaroks. I don't have them anywhere that they really should be, and I don't really know where I'm going to put them. But I have Hela and Infinity War Thor up here with all the Avengers. But I need to figure out where I'm going to put these guys, and I'm going to have them, posed in their fighting pose. So, other than that, let's see if we can maybe adjust that a bit. Other than that, I have no problem doing a collection video, because I'm pretty pleased with how they're all setting up. Really enjoyed this. Really like Gladiator Hulk. He's cool. Please show us the King Arts gantry 1/9 if you got it already. I will do that right now. I have in the other room the displayed on shelving a bookshelf because I'm not about actual, what would you call them, collectibles shelves. I've not bought any of the IKEA Detolfs or Detolfs, which seem to be very popular for displaying these figures. So I'm just using bookshelves that I have here in the house, and they're really not perfectly adequate for the figures, but they work. And in some areas, they're really overbuilt because a lot of books are heavy, and a lot of these figures together are not as heavy. Sometimes they're not as tall as they should be because a book only had to be like 12 inches or 13 inches tall for a bookshelf, when really you need like 18 inches for your Hot Toys figures. So yeah, let me show you that. I did a video on it. It's on my Mark 6. It was on my Mark 6 video that I've showcased the gantry on. So you can see me doing kind of a review on that. Yeah, I'll show you that. You see that? I don't know if the light is going to be enough for you. But this is the, I think this Mark 6 is the Hong Kong release Mark 6 that they did. So he's not battle damaged at all. He's in perfect condition. And we kind of get that in the beginning of Avengers. And like I said, this really is the size, because he lands. When he flies in the beginning of Avengers, he lands on the top of these steps on the circle, which becomes this. And that's really about the size that it stretches out to, because when you're watching it, he's right at the cusp of the top of it where it's taking it apart. And on the actual 1/6 version that was made by, I don't remember who, recently, they made it larger than that. And you can see here on this bookshelf, which I don't know what the distance is, but that's how deep it is. You know, there's my ironmonger, and it just hangs over a little bit. But I think this will fit in a Detolf case or Detolf case. And I had to make one little modification. These pieces come off, and so I took this piece off of, I think it was up here or here. I don't remember where this piece actually came from, but it's just placed here. And so because it was still right into his head, and it was still right into his head, and I didn't care for that, so I took it off and then put it right there. And then I have, you know, his little chest piece there, and I put a screwdriver, like as if it's unscrewing the little hip joints there. And then I have this holding his arm, which is really the only thing that's keeping him steady. And then I have his little face mask over here. And then I put, I don't remember which one this is, maybe Mark 4 or Mark 6 head sculpt in there. But that's how I did that.